Hey everyone, it's Enjoy English School.
Yo!
Sorry I didn't say that clearly. Today is day 2 of our Living with Face Blindness article. We're on pages 50 and 51. So yesterday we talked about what is face blindness. Today we'll talk more about how do you live with face blindness and can we help people with it?
没错，我们昨天呢跟各位介绍这个主题脸盲，对不对？我们提到说，全部的这个人口里面，大概有2.5%的人，他会有出现脸盲的这种情况。而且呢，我们还提到说，如果是小朋友在这个碰到脸盲的情况的时候呢，他们在交友上面会选择那种五官特别明显的、比较好认的。然后如果是大人，他们有脸盲状况，他们在服务业里头啊，需要认人的这种行业里面，他们会比较辛苦一点点。这是我们昨天介绍到的。那我们今天要继续介绍 ，OK？ 那如果说今天你就是有脸盲的情况下，你可以怎么样跟他共处？而且我们还会提到很多，比方说他们也有这种脸盲情况的一些大明星啊，他们怎么样活出他们的美好人生。
So before we begin paragraph 1, I was thinking, I wonder if face blindness is not also a cultural thing. So for example, I often hear Taiwanese say they think foreigners all look the same. And foreigners also say all Asians look the same. But foreigners don't think we all look the same. And I know Taiwanese don't think they all look the same. So there's a certain amount of culture here too.
That's true. 这是很有趣的观察。老师呢，在我们最开始的时候，他就讲到说，其实事实上他搞不好觉得这跟文化这个差异也有关系。比方说，你会常常听到有人说啊，外国人都长一个样，然后或者是外国人的群众里面说，哦，台湾人都长一个样，哦，也分不清日本人、韩国人跟台湾人之间的差异。所以老师就问说，会不会有可能脸盲也跟你的文化？你对文化的了解跟这些人的文化背景的熟悉程度有关。
And this also impacts, 影响 the way we describe ourselves. We talk about our own bodies. Taiwanese like to talk about your face shape, how long your nose is, your eye shape, etc., etc. Foreigners are like, hey, you, brown hair. Hey, you, red hair.
Oh, yeah.
So we describe the way we look differently because foreigners have different color hair. It's easy. Your green eyes. Chris, green eyes, blonde hair guy. You.
哦，对，没有错，因为在国内的话，或者说像在台湾好了，你看到人都是黑头发，所以说，那个黑头发的，然后10个人回头，10个人回头，那没有意义。但如果是在国外，你看到各式各样有金发的、棕发的，像老师是绿眼睛，有的蓝眼睛，所以他们用其他的这个五官啊，或者是发型啦，来去辨认人家，所以在描述自己的方式也都不同。
All right, let's jump right into paragraph 1. So, unfortunately, there is no effective medical treatment for face blindness.
好，我们在第一句话里面，他就告诉你一个，他说 Unfortunately， 我们被打预防针了，很不幸的事情，后面一定接坏消息嘛，对不对 ？There's no effective medical treatment for face blindness。对于这种脸盲的情况呢 ，There's no effective medical treatment， 其实并没有很有效的这种医疗上的这种方式来帮助你克服脸盲症。
Good. So we have there is no. Is positive, but no is negative. We can't say there isn't no. 这样子错了。Also, the word treatment means to make better. 不是100%更好。If we can make you 100%, we'll say cure. C-U-R-E. Write it down. Cure equals 100%. Treatment means make better.
没错，所以说今天用 cure 这个字是治愈、治好。好，所以这是 cure a disease， 就是把这个疾病给治到好，没有疾病为止。但是 treat a disease 就是你要去想办法治疗它，要去改善它，所以不见得能够治好。这是 treat 跟 cure 之间在动词使用的时候最大的差别。
Most people are only diagnosed with it after suffering a brain injury.
很多人呢Most people are only diagnosed with it. 所以当你提到 diagnosed， 意思就是指被诊断。很多人他们自己不知道自己有脸盲症，直到他们怎么样呢？他们 suffering a brain injury， 他发现到有脑伤的状况之后，才发现到原来你本身也有脸盲的状况。所以整句话就是 Most people are only diagnosed with it After suffering a brain image， 在脑伤之后，在诊断同时才诊断出，原来你同时也有脸盲的情况。
Now, diagnosed looks hard, but it's really easy. It's a Greek word, so we can cut it in half. 那个 dia, D-I-A means apart. 一个单词的 apart means 分别了。Then we have nosed, the G-N-O-S-E-D. And 事实上, if you listen to it, nosed. You could hear another word in there. K-N-O-W, no, 知道. So when you diagnose, you mean, 不是这个病毒，就是这个病毒. I know your disease.
所以在这里的话是分辨，然后呢，知道什么东西，就是诊断出、判断出，我知道你的状况了，这样的感觉。
So underline N-O-S, right? K-N-O-W, to know.
没错 to know something.
Our next sentence says, for the rest, most of them have to figure out that they have face blindness on their own.
OK， 所以接下来说 for the rest， 对于没有脑伤的人来讲呢，他没有机会被医生告知说by the way， 你有脸盲哦。好，没有机会的话 ，most of them have to figure out that 就是知道去想出来说，哎呀，原来我有脸盲症。They have face blindness on their own， 就得透过自己可能偶然的情况，发现到原来自己有脸盲的状况。
Let's get ready for paragraph 2. So in English, when we have troubles, we'll often tell people, you need to face your troubles. You need to try to fix them.
没错，所以我们经常碰到这种有碰到困难麻烦的时候，大家都会叫人家说，你要努力的去正面挑战它，正面解决它，不要逃避，不要躲。
That's right, face your troubles. So I wonder if we will tell people to face your face blindness.
To face your face blindness 要单独勇敢面对你的脸盲症，有意思。
It sounds really confusing. All right, next is our paragraph says, luckily, there are a number of ways people have learned to deal with face blindness.
OK， 接下来我们看第二段第一句话他说 luckily， 所以前面第一段里面他说 unfortunately 指的是不幸的、很可惜的、不巧的事怎样怎样，但是第二段他提到说不要担心，虽然前面告诉你是坏消息，好消息在后头 luckily 怎么样 There are a number of ways people have learned to deal with face blindness. 有脸盲的状况也不用害怕，我们已经有想到其他的方式来跟脸盲共存。
Underline have learned to deal with. That's our present perfect tense. 现在完成式. Why do we have present perfect? 因为自从我们发明了这个病毒到现在 people learn to deal with. We learn how to work with or fix this problem. So that we have this long period of time from the past to now. Present perfect tense.
没错，这是使用现在完成式的好时机。从以前到现在，一直以来都怎么样的时候，就可以使用这个用法。所以大家一路以来知道有脸盲的情况之后，我们就想方设法的用不同的方式来跟他一起共存，能克服这个问题。
When we deal with something, that means we work with something that's kind of annoying.
Deal with 通常后面会接 a problem, something that it's difficult. 好，通常是这样 deal with 的话，就是应付、对付、去面对。
Maybe you see that meme on the internet where it says the glasses fall down and it says deal with it. That means that I know you don't like this situation, but 没办法，你就是接受了。I feel 很cool because 我没问题 but you feel it's annoying. Deal with it.
Deal with it. 好，就是面对它吧。
Next. After all, there are other ways of recognizing people besides the way they look.
好，接下来第二句话是说，毕竟呢 ，after all, there are other ways of recognizing people besides the way they look. 其实事实上要去认得一个人，也不见得只能靠外貌去认得他嘛，还有其他的方式可以帮助你啊。他就告诉你这件事咯。
Sometimes I smell people that smell like my dad. Like I just smell them. I'm like, it smells like my dad. I don't know why. My dad died a long time ago. And when I smell someone that maybe uses the same, maybe cologne, I don't know. But they smell like my dad and I think of him. It's weird.
所以说其实上老师他对于那种气味也是很敏感。他如果闻到说，他感觉闻起来味道像我爸。
I don't like smell people. I just smell it. Like in the air.
刚好有，要不然我还不会自己去闻一下这样子。对，这样很怪。That would be weird. 但如果说今天只是闻到这味道，这人味道让我觉得很熟悉、很舒服，然后闻到有父亲的感觉，好，这时候他就是说会勾起他对父亲的回忆。
Some learn to recognize others by the sound of their voice.
好像我的话，我本身就是很习惯听人家说话，声音对我来讲是很重要的。Some learn to recognize others by the sound of their voice. 很多时候你打电话一接起来，喂，只要听到一个喂，你就知道说是谁打来的。那也许你就是擅长用声音去辨别他人的一个高手。
And now you know why I always start the show with a lot of energy. Hey everyone, it's Enjoy English School.I want you to kind of know that. I want you to think, oh, 开始了。I do that to kind of like mentally get you ready.
没错，没错，叫他很记得说，哦，听到这个声音就哇，整个嗨起来了，有没有？你整个决定要上课了。
Yeah, that's right. So you are ready when you hear that voice. Next, others learn to pick people out of the crowd by their hairstyle.
这几乎都在讲 Chris 老师嘛，对不对哈？Others learn to pick people out of the crowd.Pick people out of a crowd 就是指一群人之中，你能认出来，好像把他整个从人群中这样捡起来，有没有看出来说，哦，就是你？你看到那个尖头发的啊 ，Chris 老师啦，对不对？他可以透过别人的发型去认出来他跟其他人的差异。
In short, this condition doesn't have to be something that stops people from enjoying a full and successful life.
好，他就告诉你说了 ，in short 就是指简言之呢，很简短的说明呢，通常提到 in short 就是要给你一个结论了。This condition doesn't have to be something 好。这样的这个情况，不见得一定会是一个事情。这个事情怎么样呢 ？That stops people from enjoying a full and successful life。意思就是指这个事情不应该影响你、阻碍你充实的、很丰富的过你的人生。好，在这叫 enjoying a full and successful life. Successful 指的是成功的 ，full 是圆满的意思。
That's right. And here we have the word condition. Don't forget, we won't say disease here because 它不是那个什么细菌什么糟的 right? So it's not a disease, D-I-S-E-A-S-E. And we don't like the word disorder because that sounds really bad. A condition feels very neutral and safe.
没错，所以要用 condition 这个字的话，听起来感觉比较好。然后如果说有这个人有这样子的情况的时候，你用 condition 的话，人家也觉得听起来很舒服。
That's right. And circle the word people from and draw an arrow to enjoying. Remember, after our preposition, we need some kind of noun or a V-I-N-G.
没错，所以如果碰到介系词 from stop people from doing something， 这个 from 后面要接的话是接名词，或者是接 VING， 这样才可以。
Let's take another quick break. Hey, welcome back to Enjoy English School. Let's begin our final paragraph, and it begins. As proof.Take a look at a couple of examples of successful people who have been diagnosed with face blindness.
好，接下来我们第三段的话呢，我们就延续到第二段的最后地方。第二段这个地方不是讲到说，不会阻挠你，让你没有办法过一个充实、成功、圆满的人生嘛，对不对？接下来他要告诉你更多的例子，这样来说服你。As proof， 意思就是指要举例，要举实际的例证来说明的话。Take a look at a couple of examples of successful people who have been diagnosed with face blindness. 我们来举几个很重要、很成功、大家都认得的，可能是大明星啊，一些成功人士。这些成功人士都曾经都被诊断说，有脸盲症，他们也是活得好好的，人生呢也是很美好。我们来看一些这样的例子。
Now pick up your pencil and underline the word proof.That's an uncountable noun. So write U-C-N. It's uncountable. We don't say proofs. Now, maybe when you go to university and you study math or mathematics, then you can say proofs. But that's something different. That's not this here, okay? Now, proof is a noun. It's an uncountable noun. The verb is to prove. P-R-O-V-E.We know that's a verb because 那个 V 是什么意思 It's a verb, V-E-R-B 写下来
对耶，真的是这样。如果说今天要用动词的时候，你会用 P-R-O-V-E prove to prove something, to prove yourself 要证明你自己的能力 to prove yourself 这时候就会用 V 来当做那个 V-E 来当做结尾嘛，这个 V 就是 verb 动词，这样很好记。
Our next sentence says Brad Pitt,One of the biggest actors of all time has lived with the condition all his life.
好，所以他就举个例子啊 ，Brad Pitt 大家都知道嘛，布莱德比特对不对？大帅哥对不对 ？One of the biggest actors of all time， 史上呢非常非常有名的这个演员，好 ，OK，has lived with the condition all his life， 一辈子呢都跟这样的脸盲的状况呢共存。
I like they use the word the biggest here. We have BIG.GEST, we have superlative of adjectives the first way, right? So 这个第一个方法有一个音节还是两个音节结尾 y 要去 y 加 IEST 怎么样？And then we can also say one of the most famous. We can easily change this to the other way of superlative of adjectives. 前面你加 the most, 然后你加形容词 because famous 有两个音节不结尾 y， so 两个音节以上没有结尾 y， 你前面加 the most. I want everyone to write down the most famous right now.
Yeah， 没错，提到最高级，好，老师讲 superlative adjective 就是形容词的最高级呢。它在这边的话，你也可以写上 one of the most famous， 好，这样的话你就有两种形态都在你的脑子里头了。以后你碰到最高级的时候，你想 the biggest， 好 the most famous， 两种形态都会有。
And sometimes you'll even hear that together. It's the biggest, most famous, etc., etc. You'll see those together.
没错。
And so we have present perfect tense here, and that makes sense, right? Because when you have this condition, it doesn't go away, right? So it's from the past to now. Brad Pitt, 现在完全是。
没错。
Perfect.
就是从以前到现在，一直以来都跟这个疾病，这样的现象、这种状况共存。
And now next we have Oliver Sacks, a famous neuroscientist, lived with face blindness as well.
OK， 接下来我们看到另外一个例子喽，他就说了 Oliver Sacks, a famous neuroscientist， 好，神经科学家。好，在这里的话呢，他就提到了 Oliver Sacks， 他本身呢 lived with face blindness as well， 他本身也是有出现这样脸盲的情况。
And just like Anthony says here, what did you say? Ben Lai, right?
Ben Lai.
Ben Lai. We know that Oliver Sacks is dead now. He doesn't live anymore because Brad Pitt 现在完全是从过去到现在他还在了 right? But Oliver Sacks lived with face blindness. We used past tense. So 没错 lived is a regular verb ed, so 它的过去式它的过去分词一模一样。But 我们还可以看得出来 Brad Pitt is alive, but Oliver Sacks is dead because we're not using present perfect tense here.
没有错，我后来去查了一下 ，Oliver Sacks 大概是2015年的时候逝世的。他有一些很有名的作品，很棒的作品。那他的话，这边使用的过去式代表，你也可以看出来说，哦，他就没有延续到现在了。那可能这个人已经不在这个世界上了。
And you said they made a movie about him, right?
Yeah, right. So The Awakenings. 后来它里面这个电影的话是罗宾威廉斯，还有那个 Robert De Niro， 好，劳勃迪尼洛两个人所演的叫睡人，睡觉的睡。
All right, our next sentence says, both men and many others prove, there's our verb, that difficulties can be solved. And that's something we can all appreciate. ATE. 等一下，我不要说。
Appreciate. 好，这个地方我们来讲一下哈。Both men， 好，这两个人呢 ，and many others， 还有其他这些有脸盲状况的人呢。Prove that， 有没有注意到 prove 这个字？前面在第三段的第一句话的时候是 proof 名词 proof， 但是如果这个地方最后一句话是 prove， 你会听到那个 v 的结尾，因为它最后的 ve 你就知道它是动词，就证明了什么事情 ？That difficulties can be solved。好，任何的困难都是可以解决的。And that's something we can all appreciate. 好，这个事情呢，本身也是大家可以去正面看待，可以去欣赏的事情。
Now, the word appreciate ends in ate. ATE actually has two sounds. It's it or ate. And if it's a verb, ATE 会发ate, and that makes sense 因为它是动词 eat ate, right? That makes sense. 它是动词 so eat ate 过去式。And we know this is a verb because we have can, right? So can show 它是动词，这个是 appreciate. If we have an adjective or a noun, ATE 会发 it. So we don't say the word appreciate in English, but there are lots of adjectives that do end in ATE, and 他们发 it.
其中一个最好的例子就是 elaborate。If you say elaborate on something, that means you give more example to explain, right? But if you say elaborate, 在这个时候它就变成是形容词，它指的是很精巧，制作非常非常精巧的。我可以帮各位拼一下哈，是 elaborate， 再一次 elaborate， 它可以当动词 elaborate a 的声音就是动词 elaborate on something on your point, or you can say elaborate 就是形容词，它发 的声音。
Time for vocab review. All right, let's jump right into vocab review. Number 1 today is medical treatment.
Medical treatment 就是医疗的这种照顾，或是医疗的这种措施。
Number 2, we have an injury.
An injury 就是受伤了，好，所以是脑伤啦或其他伤。Brain injury 就是脑伤。
Number 3, to figure something out.
To figure something out 就是想清楚、弄明白什么事情。
Number 4, besides.
Besides 记得加那个 s 指的是此外。
And number 5, we have to pick somebody out of a crowd or pick somebody out of the crowd.
Pick somebody out of the crowd 就是指从人群当中认出某人的感觉。
And lastly, we have our uncountable noun and our verb, proof to prove.
Proof 好是不可数的这种名词，是证据。To prove 就是去证明什么事情。
And that is all the time we have for It Enjoy English School, but we will catch you next time, so don't go anywhere. I'm Chris Gorski.
I'm Anthony.
We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
第50页，科技新知，与脸盲共存。
Living with face blindness.Unfortunately, there is no effective medical treatment for face blindness. Most people are only diagnosed with it after suffering a brain injury. For the rest, most of them have to figure out that they have face blindness on their own. Luckily, there are a number of ways people have learned to deal with face blindness. After all, there are other ways of recognizing people besides the way they look.Some learn to recognize others by the sound of their voice. Others learn to pick people out of the crowd by their hairstyle. In short, this condition doesn't have to be something that stops people from enjoying a full and successful life. As proof, take a look at a couple of examples of successful people who have been diagnosed with face blindness. Brad Pitt,one of the biggest actors of all time, has lived with the condition all his life. Oliver Sacks, a famous neuroscientist, lived with face blindness as well. Both men and many others proved that difficulties can be solved, and that's something we can all appreciate.